I expected a competitive game between Boston and Montreal, and guess what? They delivered! I was ready for quite the interesting game going into this, as before the game it was announced that Montreal was going to be playing without two of their best D, Katie Tabin still serving her suspension, and Erin Ambrose returned home for personal reasons that weren't fully disclosed. For Boston, they're still without both Erin Frankel and Alina Mueller, who's their top goalie, and Mueller being their second leading scorer currently. Boston went back to Klara Peslova once again, and it took 7 total periods of play for her to finally be beaten, Jennifer Gardner being the one to finally do it. I know Boston didn't come out on the winning end this time around, but I think Peslova has more than shown enough that she's capable of being a full-time goalie in this league. Maybe not a full-time starter, but at least more playing time than she's been given. Vancouver, I think you need to keep your eye out on her. It looks like Montreal may be finding scoring from their depth once again, as Catherine Dubois scored again for the second straight game. Now, I wasn't fully convinced that Montreal had this game in the bag, but it was getting late and I was starting to think that Boston wouldn't be able to come back. Not until the two Hannahs, Hannah Brandt and Hannah Bilka, changed that. Brandt's goal did get reviewed after the net came off in the process, but when I saw the replay, I knew for sure that was going to be a good goal, and I was sure when I saw it live as well. And I thought, do they have it in them to score a second? But then just 39 seconds later, Bilka picked Debian on the short side in the corner, it looked like, and tied it at 2, sending the game to overtime. You just knew that Boston and Montreal couldn't play without going to overtime, right? And just like what happened on March 1st at the Bell Center, Laura Stacey got the overtime winner for Montreal, winning the game 3-2 just like then. With the win, Montreal has locked down home ice advantage in round 1, but not quite first place quite yet. A win in their final game this season will do so, however. At this point, there's no way for Boston to catch Montreal, but Toronto still has 2 games remain and can get 6 total points from them. If Montreal doesn't get a point in their last game and Toronto wins both games in regulation, Toronto would get first place. We'll have to wait a little bit longer to see if Boston will clinch, but if Minnesota doesn't beat Ottawa in regulation on Wednesday, we'll know the 4 teams that are in the playoffs this year.